Now I gotta be honest, and this is probably going to be a bold claim for many, but this is how I truly feel. I think Helck, with its first episode, which just released today, is already one of the strongest shows that you can watch this anime season. And this was one that I had manga readers left and right begging me to watch, and I wasn't expecting it because trailer, poster image didn't really look anything that crazy, but I had people saying, seriously, watch this. And I'm not going to talk about like sequels or carryovers. If we're looking at this just as brand new anime, never been seen before up until this point, it goes Zom 100 for me, and then Helck. I legit feel that strongly right now. And it's hard to put into words what made this first episode so great, but almost right away, I just felt something solid here. And this had a very solid production. It probably helps that the character designs are fairly basic, so it allows for what we see to remain consistent. There's not a lot of complexities there. But in general, watching He-Man punch his way through this tournament, I was like, okay, we got this badass. He's fighting through demons, and somehow this human, who is apparently a human hero, is loved by these demons, as this one girl is freaking out being like, bruh, you can't have a tournament where we're trying to figure out who's going to be the next demon lord and have a human beat all of our competitors. Like, this is just going to make it so that we don't have a new ruler after the previous one was defeated. But over the course of this episode, the humor is solid, it's consistent. We go from a battle arena to building a house of cards, but by the end, they drop some major bombshells that really has me scratching my head because I was already confused about Helck as a character. Cheerful guy, seems like he legit hates human if we're to believe what he's saying, but he seems so cheerful, and then they drop the bombshell. Not gonna lie, had to Google the word, but turns out fratricide is basically to kill one's own brother or sister, which is apparently what Helck has done, which causes him to be hated in the human world. Now, given how he's holding on to this picture, very cheerful, looks like him and his brother were chill together. Now, could he have done it? Maybe, but there's a lot of questions, and they're blending that interesting story hook with this hilarious adventure, which honestly, I can already begin to imagine the back and forth between these two characters, one of which being like, damn it, we can't have a human here who says he hates humans and wants to worship the demons. No, it just doesn't make sense, as Helck is just cheerful as can be, but is an absolute tank. I mean, there's a moment in this episode that absolutely sells, I think, probably a lot of people. When they're building their house of cards, right? You know, he's trying to put two together, it keeps falling, I thought he was about to flip a table. He does this big... all the cards for everyone else go away, and then he just is like Lightning McQueen, just stacking everything and does a whole deck. It's just, this show is fun, but it's got a captivating central hook, so do yourself a favor and go watch episode 1 if you didn't already, and get back here because we got a lot to discuss. Now, full live reaction to episode 1 is available on my Patreon if you would like to see my full uncut thoughts of that Helck greatness. It's over there if you're interested. Now, like I say, this is hands down like my second favorite first episode and anime that's brand new. Now, like, we're not talking about carryovers or sequels. Like, yeah, we all know Jujutsu Kaisen, Mushoku Tensei, like, we like those for a reason, but brand new stuff, the stuff that's really gonna have us talking over the next few months. For me personally, Helck is one of those. Now, will this be criminally slept on? Probably. I mean, these types of shows, I feel like unless you have a million source readers telling someone to like it, people just decide not to watch something, and that's why I try my best to get people to try these shows that you might sleep on. And hell, I'm not perfect. I was gonna sleep on this one, and if it wasn't for my community pointing me towards the light, I probably would have. And I'm here to say that this one is truly special. Now, I mean, immediately I was just kind of happy to see an interesting character design for Helck. He literally kind of reminds me of He-Man, and honestly, when you think of heroes in any sort of fantasy anime, do you think of Helck? No, you think of kind of like, oh, it's like the Kirito kind of design. That's a lot of times what people go for. You know, it's just, you have that typical formula we work with. And then you just have this big badass who's as cheerful as can be. And I love the fact that, you know, this is a very populated environment. I mean, the Colosseum, we see a lot of character designs, both in the ring and on the sidelines. And you have, at one point, the Easter Bunny, who honestly is trying to build this house of cards and he's like freaking out, just cracks me the hell up. But just the sheer variety and it's complex while keeping it simple. And what I mean is, like, when you look at any of the characters, are they the most overly detailed with a deep color palette. No, it's like, oh, here's a basic color palette and a basic character design. But when you look at Helck or any of the characters, they look good. They look consistent from one scene to the next. And because this, I think, is supposed to be a 2-core, I think this is supposed to be 24 episodes if I'm not mistaken. When you have something where, think of like some ufotable character designs, right? There's a lot of crisp details, a lot of like fluid movements. But to have something like, you know, a very complex character design for 24 episodes straight, that's when you get into issues. If you actually take a look at the final season of Attack on Titan, you notice that there's new maneuver gear, kind of like character designs and everything. And those are very complex, which cause for some inconsistencies. And Isayama, the mangaka, even felt bad about designing such a complex character design because he knew it would be hard for the anime. But when you look at Helck and just the color palette and the design, because it's on a more simplistic level, they get to really refine it to make it look very good. The comedy was awesome. I love seeing our girl just blow up at one point. This poor animal servant monster has to be a monster fire extinguisher as she burns the whole damn building down. And I like the idea because from her point of view, she's making a hell of a lot of sense. We have a human hero fighting our monsters. These are supposed to be the next potential future ruler of our kingdom, and you have a human kicking everyone's ass. He is going to disrupt everything, but at every single moment, he seems like he's legit honest. I hate humans, he says with the biggest smile. I love the demon world. This is the greatest, and everyone's eating it up except her, and it is really, really fun. That dynamic hooked me right in. I love the production. Opening, man, that shit was heavy and awesome. I loved it. It had me for almost like a gag style series, but then they start seeping in the extra detail, talking about how like this man, he killed his brother, but he's showing this other demon like his photos, like he doesn't look like he killed a brother. Like, what are you talking about? And we don't know. We end this episode with seemingly coming in. Now, are they coming to hunt Helck? Are they here to do something? I really don't know, but this is a truly special show. I really feel that. Now, I feel like I mean, this is early, right? This isn't like the Mushoku Tensei or the Jujutsu Kaisen, so there's not a lot of people talking about it as I'm recording because I literally watched it as soon as it released. So I have no idea, but my gut tells me that I'm gonna have a mixture of people saying I'm overhyping this or that it was just fine, like for them, and they just don't see the appeal. And if that's how people feel, go ahead, but this is how I truly feel. And anyone who follows my channel knows that I like to find shows that maybe people either aren't talking about or maybe they sleep on more than I think they deserve. And I know Helck has a passionate manga fan base. That's the entire reason I went out of my way to watch this. But it doesn't have the same type of fan base that is gonna get everyone to turn something like this mainstream, right? You know, prior to a Jujutsu Kaisen coming out, you knew it was going to be mainstream because of the following it had previously. This, I really hope does well because I think based on the first episode, things can change. This is truly 10 out of 10 special for me, and I'm gonna love watching it. Hopefully the videos do well so I can do it every Tuesday. If not, it will have to become a Patreon exclusive, but I'm just saying, at the very least, just please, don't disappoint me. I'm sick of seeing the My Home heroes of the season get underwatched. You gotta watch Helck. I loved it. Now, of course, that's my feelings. Let's see if I'm the complete odd one out and everyone else just thinks it's mediocre. But that's how I feel about it right now. But let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. Like I mentioned, full live reaction to episode 1 of Helck is available on my Patreon. And if I do stop doing videos on the channel, you'll know where to find it over there if you're interested. And hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Anthony Boughton, Cult of Galm, Davlin, and Artur Cunha. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.